Guys, if you're ready for a good, happy birth story, this is it. Boobs.
Phenomenal, by the way.
Oh my god, look, hold on. And he literally sucked me dry last night.
Not me. You just pointed at me. We can see the head. And you're like buzzing.
I'm genuinely really sorry.
So much to catch up on.
So much to catch up on. There's so much to catch up on. I can't believe I've been on YouTube for like a year.
Yes, it's been a long while since I've even done a video.
Hi, I don't know if I remember how to do this. It's been probably a year since I've been on YouTube. Definitely haven't been on YouTube since I've been pregnant for the second time round. And now we're coming back with...
Moses basket.
So we have just had our second child called Bowie. Named Bowie because our daughter, well, she wanted Python. Which, to be fair, we thought was a really good name, but we just needed to wait and see like his penis size, because that's not, it's quite expectational for future relationships if you're called Python.
Wow. Welcome back.
Isn't it? Let's be honest. So maybe Python for a middle name, but we love Bowie music, and Jax was like, oh, Bowie's a good name. And then she also liked Rainbow, and obviously half of Rainbow is Bow, and the rainbow obviously is for our miscarriage last year, which you also wouldn't know about unless you were following on Instagram. So I'm genuinely really sorry.
So much to catch up on.
So much to catch up on. There's so much to catch up on. So yeah, we have had our son, and I'm going to be really honest, shit pregnancy.
Yeah, it was a really, for you.
Yeah.
In comparison, you know, obviously, Jax was a
lovely
utter dream pregnancy and a horrific birth. And this was the complete flip. It was, from about 4 weeks in, I thought you were done.
Yeah, and I kind of was done. To sum it up, pregnancy is wonderful. My first pregnancy, I loved it. I just had a bump. I just felt really, really well and healthy. I didn't feel like my life was limited that much.
Yeah, you were able to, you trained the day you went into labour, didn't you?
And now I know why a lot of you hated me during my first pregnancy, because obviously that wasn't necessarily the norm. So this time came around, and I think I had the sickness until about 21 weeks.
You probably trained 5 times.
Probably trained about 5 times, yeah.
Your body was in so much pain.
My body just hurt. Like, it wasn't, I said to people I didn't feel comfortable in my body, and it wasn't necessarily the bump, it was my body hurt, and it didn't feel like my body was dealing with being pregnant. I had pelvic girdle pain. I also had a really sexy varicose vein. That was beautiful.
Your sleep was disrupted in a way that I would classify it as now. With him here.
Yeah, I slept like basically the same as I do now with a newborn.
For 7 months you were sleeping in that much of discomfort that you were up every like 2 hours.
And I think I was a little bit depressed. Like, I literally just found myself going to bed.
You were like me last time.
Yeah, you said you were depressed last year. Yeah, Leon would go, you know, do something in the evening, and I would be like, I'm gonna go to bed. So I'd literally put Jax to bed and go to bed. So that was my pregnancy. Still incredibly grateful. Really in awe of what the body can do, but yeah, I've now experienced both sides. So if you are not enjoying your pregnancy, I just want you to know, absolutely fine to not enjoy your pregnancy but still be grateful that you're pregnant. It doesn't make you a bad person for being like, I'm not enjoying this at all. Because I did get some messages about, like, you know, I can't have a baby and you can, so don't whinge. And I get that, but that doesn't negate that I'm not enjoying being pregnant.
Yeah, I just think that's unfortunate. People thrust their reality onto you. Yeah, I have all the time. I haven't been to the hairdresser. I'll shave them all off tomorrow. That's the problem, isn't it? It's like everyone's reality is completely different. And like, I even shared Carly doing her pelvic floor stuff and training ever since she got back, because I hated how much she got it thrown at her that her body snapped back last time. And I'm like, but the amount of work that she put in pre, intra, and then after, it really kind of dilutes that sometimes. And I even got messages from people saying, well, she's lucky she knows what she's doing. And I'm like, with pregnancy, it is, like many subjects, it's very sensitive.
Definitely.
For people for different reasons. So.
And for people that do want to know what I have been doing, I am filming that, and that will be the next video, so you guys can join in. It is already.
Are you
I'm a trainer. Yes, I think people on Instagram didn't know I was a trainer, because I don't really share fitness stuff, and they were like, can you let me know what program she's following? And I was like, my own. Yeah, let's talk birth. Okay. So let's talk about Jax's birth, because that will probably help you, and I'll also link the birth story here if you just want to watch that, but that'll probably help you with this one. Jax's birth was 39 hours.
A Xena warrior princess.
Yeah, I basically stood the entire time holding onto the basin going, whoa!
And we were in the MLBU.
Yeah, the midwife unit.
So we had a bathing pool and you hated it. So
tried the pool, wanted it to be hotter, wasn't hot enough, kept sneaking some hot water in it. didn't dilate very well until I fell asleep, and then came round and was like, do you know what, guys, I'm just going to stay pregnant. I don't need to have this baby, and I generally meant it. Had a lot of stitches, I mean a lot of stitches.
Like 30 odd stitches, that's
30 odd stitches, pelvic floor destroyed, butt destroyed.
Filleted.
Filleted, like I would walk up the stairs and I would fart with every step. So that was not the labour that I wanted. Did it on 2 paracetamol, natural labour. Wouldn't have recommended that one if I was honest, but Jax was healthy and wonderful. This birth, guys, if you're ready for a good, happy birth story, this is it. I need you all to remind me that I don't want to do this again in a couple of years when I forget about it, because it was a lovely story.
Choice because these old pipes are getting
Oh yeah, you're getting the snip. I don't want to do it again. It is still painful. I'd been having Braxton Hicks for probably like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We were pretty sure he was going to come early. He came 38 weeks on the dot. Jax was 37 plus 5 days. So we went for a walk in the morning and I was like, I don't think these are Braxton Hicks anymore. They feel a lot stronger. Went for a walk, grab a coffee, the food shop, popped around my parents and had like played a little game with Jax and chatted and caught up with them. Then the food shop came, we put the food shopping away.
And you reminded me that because we were having a home birth this time,
yeah,
you get like a checklist of what you have to have, and one of the things was like snacks and stuff for the midwives, and I was like, we don't really have that many snacks that are for more than 4 or 5 year old children in the house because we'd just absolutely demolished them. So I then went to the shop and bought, you know,
boobs.
Phenomenal, by the way.
Oh my god, look, hold on. This is like a non-thingy bra, and I've never had this before. And he literally sucked me dry last night.
Not me. You just pointed at me. I didn't. I've still got to try this. I refused to try the breast milk last time. I've got to try it, but I'm not sucking you dry, trust me. So I went out and got all the biscuits and stuff. It was really weird, like it was so prepared. We had dinner.
Leon made pasta, and I'm like midway through being like, oh, pasta, no. How are you, Jax? Are you good?
You had to breathe through it, didn't you?
I was like, these are contractions. So we just said to Jax, is it cool if you go to bed like 10 minutes earlier, darling? It was like 6:30. So took her upstairs and we said, I think Bowie is going to come tonight. So if you hear noises, it's going to be the midwives coming. It might be mummy. If you get nervous, just calm down. It's absolutely fine. But I'm pretty sure you're going to have a brother when you wake up in the morning.
Oh, we've got a parcel. What's my
Go on then.
Nike stuff?
Go get your parcel.
This is where she turns around and says, my husband was a crap perfect partner.
So it was like the second to put Jax down, my body went, let's do this, because she's safe. And I was always a bit worried about where Jax would go when I went into labour. So we put her to bed and I came downstairs and I got out Jax's old mattress with a waterproof thing on the top, 2 towels, and I had my birthing ball, my pregnancy pillow, and I had a comb. Now I've given it to my friend who's giving birth, but I had a comb, literally a hair comb, but I'll link this. And I set myself up. We actually had movies on, feel good movies, and I literally set myself up in the corner and I said, Leon, let's call the midwives. He was just timing it. Now that was one thing I made a mistake with on my previous birth, is that we had this app to like time your contractions, and that totally took away all the oxytocin and really stressed me out. So Leon this time was pretty much just using your phone timer and just lapping it, and he was like, okay, they're pretty much every 5 minutes for about a minute. So we phoned them and they were like, we haven't got anyone for the home birth team, and I specifically wanted a home birth this time because hospitals really stressed me out. And I also forgot to say, sorry, my first birth I got the shakes, which I hadn't done any research, and I literally shook the entire time like this, the whole time through the 39 hours, which was just horrendous. It meant I could never ever really get into my body and feel those contractions. So I was quite nervous of that happening again. So they then called us back and they said, we've got some people, not the home birth team, but some other midwives that are going to come out.
And they were great.
And they were amazing. And I basically sat in my corner with my thing and Stephen next to me. It was a completely different experience. The pain was all down low and at the front, and it was manageable with this comb that I was just able to like breathe really down into this comb. And so much so, obviously they didn't know me, but they were constantly asking me what she was like in comparison to her last pregnancy, because she was super chill, just breathing through the contractions, not screaming, not moaning, not complaining, any of that sort of stuff. I'm not saying that you can't, but no, you definitely can, and I did last time.
They were expecting her to be a lot more vocal, I think, because she was, you know, practically fully dilated at this point. You were just, like you said, you were so much more connected to your body, and then the thing that... And then
it just switched. Then all of a sudden, she said, oh, the midwife was like, I think it's going to be a little while because you seem like okay, and they're kind of, we'd have like 3 that were like close together and then 1 that was a longer time. So they started saying, oh, we'll probably go and then come back, and I was like, fine, because I find it really uncomfortable having 2 people sitting there waiting for you to give birth. In my mind, I'm like, is it going to be too long for them? Are they bored? Do they want to watch a movie? Do they need some popcorn or something?
And then I wasn't happy about it. You're here now. I don't want you going, because what I don't want is things to progress, and then which can progress very, very fast.
Yeah.
Then I ring you up and we have the same situation, which is going to stress Carly out and just going to go backwards. So I was just like, do an assessment, find out where she was at, because they hadn't done like a
sweep.
They hadn't done a sweep or anything like that to find out how dilated she was or anything. And I was like, then give it half an hour, and then if you don't feel like things are progressing, crack on, it's fine, we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then
so she did the sweep, didn't she?
And then,
which was, yeah, and that literally was like she just went into my vagina and pressed a switch, and my body went
on,
boom.
And everything would change to the back.
Everything changed. Yeah, and it was the weirdest thing. It was, I never noticed it on my first one. My first pregnancy, first labour, I was definitely pushing down through my vagina and vulva, not through my butt at all. This time it literally went from the pain being at the front to the pain being at the back. It was like a switch, and more uncomfortable, definitely, but again with this comb, honestly it must be a magic comb, I was like able to like breathe and bear down. Now, I'm pretty sure I did do a tiny poo, because I remember thinking that someone wiped something, but then the lady said to me that that's a really good sign, because it means you're actually pushing through your butt, so winning. Ladies and gentlemen, I always forget that you can't just do one really epic push and the head comes.
And also, it's really bang out of order, because they say, we can see the head. And you're like buzzing. They're like, we can see the head. And then it goes, we can see the head. And it goes.
And I'm
so
like,
probably like 4 or 5.
It
It's like 4 or 5 contractions before the head is what I would classify as there and staying, before it keeps retracting each contraction. And then it starts to progress, and then boom, head is out. Carly loses all of her contractions.
This is like 8 times, and I must admit that my butt, I was going, can you just pull him out? Because like I don't want to be, the difference was I was like, I don't want to be pregnant anymore, just get him out. So we got the head out, and you know that, well you might know, the ring of fire, I remember that distinctly. So when I had Jax, what really threw off Jax's birth was when her head came through, I was standing, and so much blood came out that went obviously all over this white floor, and my natural instinct, because it was painful, was to close my knees like this. So I went like, I was pushing and I went, ugh. And in my brain, I had popped her head, was what I had done. And it was so terrifying that when everything after that, I don't remember. I thought when they passed her to me, I thought she was going to be dead. Like, it was generally awful. And there was just so much blood. And it's something that I've thought about continuously for the last 4 years.
And had therapy for it as well.
Yeah, I was really, really terrified. And it sounds so silly, and you guys can laugh, whatever, because it does sound stupid. Her head wasn't there, but when you're standing, you just see this blood. It's terrifying. This time around, you get that ring of fire thing, and yes, it really hurt, but I was able to, like, they were like, they never said push, they always said just listen to your body and just breathe. And so I held it, and yes, uncomfortable. Feels like someone's doing that with your mouth. Poor Leon. I'm grateful for it, because to be fair, I am tired.
Freaking out. I'm not saying anything.
He's got the view.
You know when you're like, your anxiety, it's like that duck analogy on water. It looks super chill, and I'm just sitting there holding Kylie's head, stroking her hair, saying it's all good. And then internally I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Baby's head, this is the image. Baby's head is fully out, right?
I'm not seeing this, by the way.
Carly's like, I haven't got any, I'm feeling tired, and there's a watch up on the side measuring how far apart the contractions are at this point. And it gets to like 3.5 minutes, and then the midwife goes, have you got another contraction coming? And I'm sitting there going, that baby's not making a sound, right? And I didn't realise, and this might be good for you for future knowledge if you're gonna have children, until baby is fully out, it's still connected and managed internally by mum. So it'll be completely mute. So I'm like seeing this lifeless head hanging out of Carly, and she's like, I've lost all my contractions, and I'm like, oh my god, this feels like an eternity. Then it gets to about 5.5 minutes. Bear in mind, they're about 2-3 minutes apart before this. Yeah, then the midwife goes, we're going to try and stir one up, and I'm like, what's going to happen now? And I had this really weird image of them just sticking a finger up your butt. And I didn't know why, but they don't. They did the other. They massaged your belly, a bit like we do with when Bowie's got wind. We'll massage his belly, and they basically did that. And then literally within 15 seconds, boom, it happened. He was out, looked like a grape, and then that was it.
It's really purple.
Because he was born so fast, he didn't have. His body didn't have time to adjust to the birthing process. Yeah, so he basically was purple. He looked like
an avatar.
He looked like a grape for 48 hours.
There was barely any mess. We had this whole mattress. There was barely any mess anywhere, like considering how it was the previous time. My waters broke as his head came through, same as Jax's did as well. And then they asked me about the placenta, and they actually did the injection for the placenta for me, so that would just come out. And I actually have had that sent away and turned into capsules, so I'll be reviewing that for you guys to kind of let you know whether I thought that was worth it. It's arrived and it's really cool. And then they did observations on him. He was quite congested because it was quite quick. And then the midwives, they were with us, they did all their tests and stuff. And then honestly, oh, and I forgot to say, sorry, Stephen was sat by me. So there was Leon and Stephen. Stephen was sat by me pretty much as he is now.
The whole time.
The whole time.
He was also the same throughout the whole pregnancy.
Yeah, he just didn't leave my side, licking me. And this was bonfire night, so it was fireworks. It was honestly just such a magical experience. And,
can we talk about the vagina?
What about it? Oh, hold on. Yeah,
from
sorry. Yeah.
Fillet to a couple of grazes.
A graze.
Yeah,
honestly, a graze.
How amazing is that?
And I've looked at it since, and it looks great. I have got a hemorrhoid. That was new for me. That appeared the last couple of days.
She still hasn't let me look at it.
No.
It's a bit like when you watch people break their bones. You're like, it's rank, but you're waiting for it. You still want to see it.
You have seen a head hanging out of me, so maybe a little thing.
If it's anything like that would be worrying.
So I have got a hemorrhoid. I'll share the cream. That's super sexy. Yeah, then the midwives left, and Jax walked in the morning, and we were like, you've got, yeah, she was like, what? And I was like, you've got a brother. And she was like, I'm a bit scared of him. And I was like, me too. One, he's terrified of him. I was quite scared of him. Me too. And I was like, it's fine, we've got to get to know him. So she was really cautious, and she went off to school. So we basically then had, because it was a Sunday, we basically had like a whole week of almost being parents to one child for the majority of the day, and then having Jax in the evening. And it was such
Saturday hit.
It was, yeah, it was such a lovely way to, you know, ease into being parents. And I felt so good. Don't hate, but I felt so good. We like went for like a walk all the way into the city and back for lunch pretty much every day, because I just felt so different to how I felt before, not only mentally but physically. Like I don't feel, I'm still bleeding a little bit, and obviously I've got to work on things. I don't feel like I've had a baby, and I wonder if it's because one, the labour was so good, but two, because I never went into hospital. It felt like he's always been here, because he's never left. Like he hadn't even been in the car until like yesterday. He's always been here, and he's obviously lulling us into a false sense of security. So chill. And I wonder if it's just because there's not been like that much intervention.
He's a proper chill kid.
He's just been here the whole time, and honestly, it was just the best experience for me, and it's something I feel I'm glad it went that way. I feel like I ended my pregnancy journey on such a high note, and recovery has been incredible.
Due to the work you've put in.
Yeah, I've put in a lot of work and stuff, but also, you know, just being home and being able to have that has been amazing. And I will be sharing all of that, because guys, there is so much going on. This channel is about to kind of transform a lot. I will be sharing workouts and stuff as normal, and I won't be sharing Bowie's face. If you want to see Bowie, he's on Instagram, but not his face, because I just don't think it's necessary. It's a lesson that I've learned. We stopped sharing Jax when she was 3, and this time around we're just not going to share Bowie. So but we are moving to the other side of the world. Can you guess where we're moving to? And no, it's not Australia. But we will be sharing and filming the whole thing, because we would love your support, because it's very new for us.
A lot to change.
It's going to be a lot of change. And we're going to be sharing on here. So thank you so much. Thank you for being a great birth partner. Welcome to the world.
Thanks for growing a good one.
Thanks for growing a good one. Thanks for being a great midwife, Steve. And I'll see you all super soon.
Here's to the future.
Yeah. See you soon. Bye.